three shirts there. And that's it. I have two dress shirts as well. I've never been one to have many clothes, but it's time to change that a little bit. Doing laundry so often because of my simpler times, like when I would throw pine cones into the sky and try to catch them. A very simple memory, and at the time, again, I was bored out of my mind, but these days I look back fondly at that kind of thing, and I find myself wanting to be closer friends with boredom now. Whereas a kid, boredom was my mortal enemy. I hated being bored. But these days I actually quite enjoy it. Sorry, I know I must sound ridiculous right now, but I don't know, that's just how I feel about it. Those are my thoughts on the matter, I suppose. Are you somebody who welcomes boredom? Or are you somebody who fights it off tooth and nail? I would love to hear what you have to say about boredom down in the comments. I always like reading different perspectives from y'all and seeing how other people feel. It's very interesting. But anyhow, it's about